Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu sana. The relationship between the president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and his deputy president, William Ruto, seems to be getting worse and worse each and every day. If you look at today's Star headline, Star newspaper, it captures a story. Massive graft rocked my first term, Uhuru. That's the Star headline today, Wednesday 16th. And if you read through the story, Uhuru is just trying to reveal to Kenyans, and specifically to the Kamba leaders who paid him a courtesy call at State House, that his first term in office was full of graft cases. Before we dig deep into that, ladies and gentlemen, if you've just bumped on this YouTube channel for the very first time, tap on the subscription button and also on the notification bell. I also kindly implore upon you to give this video a like. Straight away to our discussion. Let me just read for you an extract from Star newspaper today, Wednesday 16th, of that story, so that you can understand what I'm trying to say today in this video. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto are headed for a bitter political combat after the head of state said that his first term was rocked by massive corruption. Uhuru's Monday confession might have been targeted at the Deputy President, who was a key cog in the management of government affairs in their first term between 2013 and 2017. Uhuru told the leaders that he has now been able to post impressive performance in the second term because he dropped the thieves and embraced unity. That's an extract from today's Star newspaper. From that extract, ladies and gentlemen, you can see clearly that the gloves are now off, and the president and his deputy are now headed for a major world war, a major fight. And also, if you study this publication, or rather this story pretty well, then it just tells you that the person who was really aiding corruption in Jubilee's first term in office, according to this publication, then maybe one William Ruto. Maybe one William Ruto. Because now Uhuru tells us that after he dropped, or rather he threw all these people out of his government, from his government, then he is able to perform better. He is able to post impressive performance. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want us to look briefly onto the scandals that rocked Jubilee's first term in office. I'm not going to look into them into details because that's a story for another day. We are making a detailed analysis on the scandals that rocked Jubilee's first term in office. For today, I just want us to look into them briefly for you to have a rough idea of what Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to imply. During Uhuru's first term in office, Kenyans were all aware, in fact, Kenyans were shocked about the Eurobond scandal. Eurobond happened in 2014. In 2014, Jubilee administration, under the leadership of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, floated Eurobond in Irish stock exchange. The money raised there was 250 billion Kenya shillings. Out of that 250 billion Kenya shillings, only 35 billion Kenya shillings could be accounted for according to the Auditor General's report. 215 billion Kenya shillings could not be accounted for. It simply means, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, that during Jubilee's first term in office, a government that was led by Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, because they were acting as co-principals, 215 billion Kenya shillings disappeared into people's pockets. 215 billion Kenya shillings was pocketed in men's pockets. It disappeared that way. 215 billion Kenya shillings. That was one scandal that rocked Jubilee's administration in their first term in office. Another scandal that Kenyans, majority of Kenyans also know, was the Aror and Kimwarer Dam scandal. In Aror and Kimwarer Dam scandal, Kenyan taxpayers lost about 21 billion Kenya shillings. 21 billion Kenya shillings went into people's pockets. Yes, because at that time we all remember that Raila Amolo Odinga raised the complaint then. And then immediately Raila Amolo Odinga raised the complaint. William Ruto came out guns blazing and made it clear that only about 7 billion Kenya shilling was missing. It later turned out that about 21 billion Kenya shillings could not be accounted for. That's also one scandal that happened during Uhuru's first term in office. And that's why you see Uhuru really lamenting. Another scandal that Kenyans might know is the Hustlers Jet. The Hustlers Jet. Immediately Jubilee came into office, the office of the Deputy President, William Ruto, could not just explain, or rather they acquired a private jet at a cost of about 100 million Kenya shillings. 100 million Kenya shillings. So they could not really explain how they came to acquire that private jet. That was also a scandal during Jubilee's first term in office. Another scandal that we also know that Kenyans, majority of Kenyans also know, was the SGR scandal. SGR was started during the time of Mwai Kibaki and Raila Amolo Odinga. Then upon Jubilee administration coming into office in 2013, they inflated the cost of SGR to 360 billion Kenya shillings. Again, taxpayers must have lost billions there. These are just some of the few scandals that happened during Jubilee's first term in office. And we also know of the laptop scandals that money was also lost. But just looking at these four, ladies and gentlemen, there are several numerous which I'll do in my next video sometimes. Out of all these scandals, ladies and gentlemen, I still remember that at that time, the pain Kenyans were going through at that time. Kenyans were really distressed and stressed. Kenyans were stressed a lot during that time of Jubilee administration. And from what is happening today, it seems to appear that Kenyans have got very, very short memory. Very, very short memory. The same people who squandered public funds are the same people now telling Kenyans that they are their saviors. The same people who pocketed all these billions into their pockets and they became rich all of a sudden. They are now telling us that they are now the saviors, that they know what a common man needs, yet they pocketed a common man's billions into their pockets. That will be a story for another day, ladies and gentlemen. We shall dig this thing deep. We shall go into it in details, and we shall do it without fear or favor of anybody. We shall dig deep into this. So for today, ladies and gentlemen, you can see clearly that the relationship between the president and his deputy is now officially over. These two politicians are now going after each other's throats, and they are doing it without any mercy. So, ladies and gentlemen, from all this revelation, you can clearly see that the relationship between the president and his deputy might not have been built on a solid rock. Or maybe, somebody might now ask now that Uhuru was the head of the government at that time. Why is it that he could not really crack the whip? Just to try to answer that question, ladies and gentlemen, you know, in our Kenyan politics, our politics is ethnic-based. And Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, being somebody who was seeking a second term in office, he wanted to contest, he was seeking a re-election. I think Uhuru Kenyatta, his hands were tied at that time. Because assuming he could now have dealt with these people properly, I'm very certain that these people could have just flipped the ethnic card. And you know, Kenyans love people who steal. And I'm very, very sure that even if Uhuru Kenyatta at that time had dealt with these people properly, then he might have lost even votes from strongholds where those people come. Because Kenyans love thieves. So it could have really been of no use at all. But Uhuru Kenyatta is now coming out boldly to state this clearly, because I strongly believe he's not seeking a re-election, and I also believe that he knows pretty well that now he has a support he has support all over the country. He has the support of Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Amolo Odinga, Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula, and also Gideon Moi. So Uhuru Kenyatta can really come out and just reveal what happened in his first term. And it's never late for justice. What should happen now, ladies and gentlemen? The government should now move with speed and arrest these people, whoever they are, without any fear or mercy. Let them arrest these culprits and charge them of corruption. Let them be arrested. Because that's the only way at least Kenyans can at least feel that some justice has been done. Because we cannot have 215 billion going into men's pockets, and then they come out to us and tell us that now they are our saviors. You know, majority of Kenyans, let me put it that way, but I'm not trying to demean any Kenyan. Majority of Kenyans who vote are people who are not informed. The few who are informed, they form a very small percentage. Majority of Kenyans, they don't even have access to internet or even to smartphone. So they rely mostly on the mainstream media. And the mainstream media sometimes do not highlight some of these things properly, simply because they are paid. They are being bribed not to highlight these things. So majority of Kenyans, when they hear of this kind of stories, they think that they are just stories that have been implanted on somebody. These politicians, they know one another. And when Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the president of Kenya, comes out to reveal that there was corruption in his first term, it is true, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, let me end it there. Just as I did mention when we were starting, if you've bumped on this YouTube channel for the very first time, tap on the subscription button and also on the notification bell. Kindly give this video a like. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana.